101. The following question is taken from a chemistry advanced placement examination and is used with the permission of the Educational Testing Service. Solve the following problem, and then we have this balanced equation. Now, they give us some information here that's only basically used for A. Part A, that is. So we're just going to drop down for C. Part C says, predict whether a precipitate of MgF2 will form when 100.0 mils of a 3.00 times 10 to the negative third molarity solution of MgNO32 is mixed with 200 mils of a 2.00 times 10 to the negative 3 molarity solution of NaF at 18 degrees, and show the calculations to support your prediction. Okie dokie. So, first things first, if you don't know where any of this information came from, please see Part A of this question, where we go into depth into how this is the KSP value and how this is the KSP number. But now we basically have to find out, will a precipitate form for MgF2, which is this guy, when we have two different solutions mixing together? So what I'm going to do for now is I'm just going to maybe bring this down over here, because we'll probably use it later. But as of right now, we got to work with what we got, right? They gave us our one equation, MgNO3, 2. Now they told me that we had a 100 mil solution, but more specifically, it's a 3.00 times 10 to the negative third molar solution of that. So that's what I'm going to write down. 3.00 times 10 to the negative third molarity. Now, I do see that I have a nitrate ion. And remember, all nitrate ions, if they're in a compound, they're always going to be soluble. No exceptions. So this is going to dissolve 100% into its two ions, right? And the two ions, if we do break this down, I have one Mg, right? And Mg is in group 2, that's a 2+. And I have two nitrates, so two NO3 minus 1s, right? Nitrate is always a -1 charge. The thing is, which ion do I care about? Well, I only care about the one that's in the equation that I'm after, right? I need to figure out whether a precipitate of MgF2 is going to form. So out of Mg2+ or NO3-, which one matches the equation that I want? Yeah, it's the Mg2+. So who cares how much NO3- we're going to make? Don't waste your time on doing extra stuff that you don't have to. Now just look at that ratio. For every one MgNO32, right, there is only one of these, there's only one magnesium, right? There's only one magnesium. So it's a 1-to-1 ratio. So you're going to start off with 3.00 times 10 to the negative third molarity of the Mg2+. Okay. Now let's just do the other compound. The other compound was NaF. So I have NaF. Well, they told me that the concentration was 2.00 times 10 to the negative third molarity. And what does NaF break down into? Well, NaF break down into its two ions, Na+ and F-. Which one of these do I care about? Remember, don't do, more work than you gotta. Go back to the equation, and it looks like between these, the fluoride ion is similar. They both have the F-. So, who cares about how much Na you're gonna make? And for every one NaF, there's only one F in NaF. So it's a 1-to-1 ratio. So the F- concentration starting off is 2.00 times 10 to the negative third molarity. Okay. Now where do we go from here? Well, keep in mind that these molarities are initials. They are initial molarities when these two solutions did not mix. So this is what you were starting off with the Mg2+. This is what you were starting off with for the F-. However, now we're mixing these two solutions. What is the mixing formula? Yeah, it's M1V1 equals M2V2. Your initial molarity with your initial volume and your second molarity with the final volume. Keep in mind that the Mg2+ went with 100 mils. So I'll just write that down. Not 1 mil, 100 mils. And the F minus was 200 mils. So we have to do this 2 times. Let's do it for Mg first. So M1V1 equals M2V2. The initial molarity for the Mg is 3.00 times 10 to the negative third times the initial volume, which was 100. If you're using this formula, you don't have to convert into liters. Mils are fine, just as long as both volumes are in mils. This will now equal the new molarity that I'm solving for times the final volume. And the final volume, V2, is the 2 volumes together. So you had 100 mils plus 200 mils, and you get 300 mils. That is your V2. Not 300. Solve for x, all we have to do is just divide by the 300 on both sides. And now we will have the new molarity that we're going to start off with for Mg2+. So let's see. This cancels. 3 times 10 to the negative third times 100 divided by 300. I get an Mg concentration of 0.001 molarity. So I'll put that where the Mg2+ is. 0.001. Now I have to do the same thing, and maybe I can, for now, I'll do the same thing for the F minus. Well, M1V1, the initial molarity was 2.00 times 10 to the negative third times the initial volume was 200. I'm going to solve for my new molarity, which is x, and the total volume, just like before, was 300. So, same exact idea here. Just divide by the 300. And maybe I can pull this up a little bit. .0. This cancels. And now we are left with that new molarity. 2 times 10 to the negative third times 200 divided by 300. I get 0.00133. That's fine with me. And that's going to be the number for the F minus. Now don't fall into the trap that since there's 2 of them, I have to take this number and times it by 2. Balanced equation ratios have nothing to do with how much you actually have. Since this is how much you actually have, I can't just take that and times it by 2. So 0.00133. Now pause the video if you need to. I'm just going to get rid of the M1V1s because there's a little bit more math that I need to do. So here we go. Goodbye. And maybe I'll just move this over here. Okay, cool. Now, we're going to bring in the KSB equation. Now, remember, I don't know, though, if I'm at equilibrium. Remember, if I'm at equilibrium, I'm going to label this as KSP. But I don't know if I'm at equilibrium with these random numbers. So instead of solving for the KSP, we solve for Q. The Mg2 plus is 0.001, and the F minus is the 0.00133. Let's see where we're at. So it would be 0.001 times 0.00133, and that's squared. I'm going to do this all in one shot. And let's see what Q value I get. So 0.00133, that's squared, times 0.001. I get 1.77 per se. That's good enough. Times 10 to the negative 9th. Now what are we going to do with this value? Well, basically all we have to do is we just have to compare the Q value with the KSP. So maybe I'll put my KSP over here. and my Q value over here. KSP, this number was found in part A. That's the 7.09 times 10 to the negative ninth. And the Q value that I'm at is 1.77 times 10 to the negative ninth. Now, generally, we would compare the 10 to the values, right? Whichever one is greater, that's the bigger number. But these are both the same, right? They're both times 10 to the negative ninth. So we have to look at the actual value. 7.09 and 1.77. Which one is larger? Yeah, 7.09 is larger. So that means KSP is greater than Q. Remember, the KSP is your limit, right? This is a saturated solution. Anything over that number, you will form a precipitate. But if you don't reach that max, right? If you're not up to that number yet, as we are here, since the Q value is lower than KSP, you can't. You have more room to play with, but you will not form a precipitate. So not form a precipitate. And that's it. Not bad. And I think that's it, right? Yeah, predict whether you're going to form a precipitate. No. And then we showed our calculations. Beautiful. So we're all good. Okay. What do you think? Thank you so much for viewing the video. I think we have one more question on this number, so hang tight if you guys are on the playlist. I'll be talking to you in a little bit. I hope you guys are having a great day. Okay. Bye-bye.